All right, this video is about hauling wood chips. I've had several viewers ask me questions over the last few weeks, last few months in regards to what it's like pulling wood chips, how to get started, what you need, how the pay works, how the runs work, all that good stuff. I've gotten all those questions over the last few months. And in this video, I'm going to address all of that. Okay, so I'm going to start off by addressing one of my viewers' comments, Jay Aub. First part of this video will be in response to the comment that you left on the video the other day. And then I'm going to talk about the pay, how it works. I'm going to talk about being a driver doing wood chips as opposed to being an owner-operator doing wood chips like I am. We'll talk about how I got started. We'll talk about all that stuff in this video. So if you've ever wondered how hauling wood chips works, watch this video all the way to the end. I'm going to share with you guys pretty much everything that's relevant to that subject, all right? So I got a lot of bullet points that I want to make sure I cover. I got it all jotted down on my notes here. I'm going to start off by addressing Jay Aub's comment. He left it 5 days ago under a video that I did 2 years ago when I first started hauling wood chips, all right? So Jay says he just started hauling chips out of Atlantic, Canada. He says they are allowed 55,000 kg or 110,000 pounds. The truck weighs, he's saying that's what they can, that's the most that they can pull. The most that we can pull here in Virginia is 80,000 pounds or 40 tons. If we have an overweight permit and we're staying off of the interstate, we're only on state highways, then we can get a 90,000 pound forestry permit that'll allow us to pull a little bit more. But Jay, where he is, they can pull up to 110,000 pounds. He says his truck weighs about 20 kg, so his truck weighs about 40,000 pounds. So they can load between 30 and 35 kgs, 60 to 70,000 pounds is what Jay can pull around. My tear weight on my truck and trailer is 30,000. So if I'm grossing out at 80, then the most I can pull is 50. If I'm grossing out at 90, the most I can pull is 60. Where Jay is, they said they can pull a max. He said they can pull a max of 70,000 pounds. It only pays $3.99 a ton though. So make about $200 a day after taxes with 2 runs, 12-hour days. All right. So I want to put into perspective what Jay is saying. So I did some figures and I'm just going to kind of break down what I got right here. So Jay, how much, and you know this already, Jay, how much taxes the company takes out of your check as a driver, as a worker for them, don't have really nothing to do with what the company is paying you. That's, you know, how your own exemptions or withholdings or whatever are set up, right? So we just gonna use your gross figures with this, all right? So that is $280 per day at $3.99 per ton times 35 tons. That gives Jay a total of $280 per day before taxes. That's $1,400 per week and $5,600 per month. Okay, times 50 weeks. That's a year minus 2 weeks for a vacation or whatever. That would be $70,000 annually that Jay is making right now. Now, Jay, that is the same thing that an OTR or regional driver that's getting 2,500 miles a week at 56 cents a mile would be making. All right. Now, I'm bringing that up because I'm not sure about what your experience level is. I would assume that you've got a few years under your belt already. Okay. The broker that I pull for, he has his own trucks. He has his own drivers in them. And I don't think that he hires individuals with no experience. The people that he bringing on, they got to have a few years experience. So I'm saying that because maybe some other OTR or regional driver that has an extensive amount of experience, they would say 56 cents a mile at 2,500 miles is not that good. A newer driver with less experience would say, I'm talking about a van driver, okay, an OTR or regional driver, they would say 56 cents a mile at 2,500 miles is pretty good. So I'm not really sure how much experience that you have. You'll probably see some comments under this videos of individuals saying, man, if you got a couple years experience, 2 years experience, you can come to my company and get a lot more than 56 cents a mile at 2,500 miles. So you may see that comment. But again, I'm just trying to help you put this into perspective. I'm thinking that 2,500 miles at 56 cents a mile is not that bad, even for a driver that has experience, all right? But that is where you are right now, okay? And Jay, that also breaks down to $23 per hour at 12 hours, all right? So just a few things that I figured up right there. I just wanted to lay that out to, again, to help put into perspective the comment that Jay just laid out. So Jay, if you were a driver for me, based on what my truck did, the last 2 days I went out, today's Sunday, so the last 2 days I went out would have been Friday and Thursday. But if you were a driver for me and you did the same thing in my truck that I did Friday night and Thursday night, Friday my truck grossed $1,200. Thursday my truck grossed $1,100. Friday I did close to 400 miles, just under 400 miles, and Thursday I did just under 350 miles. So all of the years that I was a driver for my dad, I've been an owner operator now for a year, but before I was an owner, I drove for my dad. And all of the years, Jay, that I drove for my dad always paid me a third of what the truck grossed. I've spoken to several other owner operators as well that have multiple trucks there's different ways to pay a driver, but it normally breaks down to about a third of what the truck grosses. And there's some situations where they're paying the driver a fourth of what the truck grosses, but I ain't never really heard more than that, all right? So based on that, then Friday night you would have made close to 400, and Thursday night you would have made somewhere around we'll just call it 350, 360. We'll just call it 365, somewhere around there, because Thursday the truck made right at $1,100, all right? Now, I'm throwing that out there, Jay, not to say that you should come drive for me or you would do better down here where I am in Virginia. There may be a few reasons why. There's a couple of things that I can think of why the work that I did last night may be paying a little bit more than the work that you did. Now, I know that I'm an owner and you're a driver, but whenever I'm speaking to a driver here that does wood chips, not an owner, a driver, and I'll ask them what a certain place pays. What is that load pay coming out of that place? And based on the conversations that I've had and knowing how much I as an owner get paid to pick up out of a certain place, I know that when a driver tells me what they're getting paid to pick up a certain load, if I as an owner was to go to that same place, my pay will be just over 300% of what they're getting, okay? So if I ask a driver, hey, what does it pay coming out of that place? And he says it pays him $5 a ton. I know as an owner, if I was to go there, my pay as an owner would probably be $15.50, maybe $16 a ton. I've talked to enough drivers to know the difference between what I get paid as an owner and what they get paid, all right? So at $3.99 a ton, if I were where you are, we'll just say that would put me as an owner doing that same work at $13 per ton. All right. Again, just throwing that out there just to help you put everything into perspective. Now, at $13 a ton, let me do the figures on that real quick. At $13 per ton, if I was doing the same 35 tons that you're doing, 2 runs, we'll say that's 70 tons a night. That would be $910 a day in 12 hours. Now, me, when I go out, I like my truck to be making at least $100 an hour. Okay, so if I was doing the same work that you're doing, that would put me at a gross of $910 a night, which I would want to make more than that. I'd want to make a couple $100 more than that. Again, especially if I'm going to be out for 12 hours. If I'm going to be out for 9 hours, $910 is okay. So now there's one thing I can think of right off the top of my head, Jay. I primarily do hardwood, and in my area, hardwood pays more than pine. Some facilities run pine, some facilities do hardwood, some facilities do both. I'm fortunate enough where 99.99% of the time I'm pulling hardwood. And again, in my area, hardwood pays more than pine. In your area, hardwood may pay more than pine. Pine may pay more than hardwood. The point that I'm making is, if you didn't know that some material could potentially pay more than others, maybe you can speak to somebody about getting on and hauling the material that pays a little bit more. That'll increase your per ton pay. Again, I'm saying that because if I was in your area, I, as an owner, would be looking to make more per night than I would guess that your truck is making. Okay. Another way to be able to find out if there's more money to be made, Jay, at the company that you're at, do they have long-term drivers there? right? I don't know how long you've been there, but do they have long-term drivers there? If they do, then that's a good sign that the company is paying their drivers well. Have some conversations with those top paid company drivers and figure out what they're doing that you're not doing. Figure out what you need to do. You can get a lot of good information from that. All right. So that was just some basic information for you, help you to compare to, like I said, where I am down here in Virginia, and to also help you, maybe, again, you may already know that different materials pay more, but you know, if you're looking for a way to make more money, they're hauling wood chips. I can tell you that when I first got started, I was clumsy hauling wood chips. Because I just didn't know what was going on. All right. Another thing that you can do that I've done that I would say has helped to increase my nightly pay, my overall pay, is learning more about the different facilities that we can go in and out of. There's wood chip mills and paper mills. They're all over the place down here. But, you know, whether if you're a driver for the broker, it probably won't matter. They're probably telling you where to go. But as an owner, they're not necessarily telling me where to go. They're more or less saying these are the places that you can go, and I'm kind of getting to pick the different places that I want to go. But when I first started, I wasn't even aware of all of the different places that I could go. Now I know of a lot more places that I can go. So what that allows me to do a lot of the times is stay loaded both ways. Instead of going out empty, picking up and coming back loaded, a lot of the times I can stay loaded both ways because I'm aware of what's running out and what's coming back in. I don't want to complicate it, but basically knowing more of the facilities that we can go into allows me to stay loaded more, all right, which is going to increase my per mile pay, because I'm getting paid both ways in a lot of situations, right? So those are all things that you can do, that an individual could do that's hauling wood chips, to kind of try to find where the money is. It's a learning curve, just like any other aspect of trucking. When you first start, you're going to be a little bit clumsy because you just don't know how things work and what's going on. But you know, over the years, for me, I can definitely say it has gotten better. I can't necessarily say that I would enjoy pulling wood chips as a driver. I can't say that I wouldn't, but I'm not so sure that I would either. All right, I enjoy being an owner operator. So Jay, you're probably not interested in buying your own truck, but in my opinion, I mean, it might be better as an owner, right, to get set up. And I'll go into the next aspect of this video right here. To get set up as an owner operator pulling wood chips is really simple. Now, if you got value from that video, then you'll probably get value from part 2, where I get into what I had to do to get set up to haul wood chips and the pros and the cons. You can check it out by clicking right over here.